This is WeatherScope.
Now, much of the eastern half of the nation is being affected by a massive winter storm on this Thursday morning. You're seeing severe storms in parts of the southeast, flooding rains in the mid-Atlantic, and ice is glazing over northern New York and northern New England. Good morning, I'm Rick Griffin. Welcome to WeatherScope. We've got detailed information for you on this system, including Weather Channel crews on location in Vermont and Wisconsin. Now let's go to Cheryl Lemke in the Forecast Center for the latest information.
Thanks, Rick, and good morning. Now, a crippling ice storm has struck parts of northern New England this morning, and at the same time, this very same storm system has also been producing some severe weather across the southeast. And at this time, there is still a tornado watch for parts of the southeast, including the coastal waters off the coast of Georgia, and likewise for parts of central Florida. This does include those of you in Orlando and Daytona Beach. And remember, whenever we talk about a tornado watch, that means conditions are favorable in and around the watch area for the possibility of tornadoes. And speaking of tornadoes, a tornado possibly last night in Georgia. Greensboro, Georgia took a beating last night when the area was hit by strong winds during a storm. Most of the buildings in the downtown area were either damaged or destroyed. Residents of the town believe the havoc was caused by a tornado, but that has not been confirmed. Fortunately, no one was injured. Yes, indeed, much of the southeast has the possibility of seeing some damaging thunderstorms today, mainly from the Tidewater of Virginia, the Carolina coastal region, and extending south through Florida. There is a chance for some rough conditions. Thunderstorms today will be capable of producing large hail, damaging gusty winds, and possibly some torrential downpours and maybe some isolated tornadoes. In the southeast, we're seeing a moist plume of air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. Very balmy conditions considering it's early January. At the same time, too, a powerful cold front continues to march in from the west, making for some really good dynamics and a very unstable air mass. Hence, showers and thunderstorms have been erupting. And so far, some of the ugliest thunderstorms have been across Florida. We've had some possibly severe weather cropping up this morning over most of central Florida. And earlier this morning, there was a severe thunderstorm warning out for Sarasota County, just south and east of Tampa. We've had reports now of some wind gusts near Interstate 75 in Sarasota County, gusting in excess of 50 miles an hour. If you're going to be traveling this morning, be careful I-75, also Interstate 4. You'll get inundated by heavier showers and storms as this rough weather continues to lift towards the northeast. Heavy rain, too, soaking North and South Carolina. And we've had some very hard rain, too, coming down this morning from Myrtle Beach and Charleston down towards St. Simon's Island and Savannah. Again, the general movement to the northeast at 35 to 40 miles per hour with these showers and storms. Besides the heavy rain, though, and the thunderstorms plaguing the southeast, this is a multifaceted storm system. It's also been producing snow on the backside of the storm. And then up to the north, we've had some ice and snowy conditions across northern New England. Temperatures really vary quite a bit. Luckily, though, for most areas throughout the northeast, temperatures up above the critical 32 degrees. So with temperatures above the freezing mark, most of the precipitation has taken the form of rain. However, that has not been the case across upstate New York and the St. Lawrence Valley and across a large part of New England. We've had ice and snow. And right in the midst of all that, Burlington, Vermont has had reports of moderate freezing rain. Currently for Burlington, 34 degrees, moderate freezing rain, and significant icing. And again, in the midst of all this, we have our very own Jim Cantori in Burlington, Vermont. Good morning, Jim. What's the latest from Burlington?
Good morning, Cheryl. You mentioned the 34 degrees and the moderate freezing rain. And yeah, even though temperatures are above freezing, you can see we have an icy surface. We have a surface that's about 32 degrees or even less. And therefore, even some of the water that's coming on down here is sticking to some of the trees. Just unbelievable. When you look around, you see everything is completely ice covered. The good news is they've spread a ton of salt on the roads. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen this much salt since the margarita specials on Friday afternoon, but it's just unbelievable. And that's actually helped the roads a lot because of the fact that we've seen a lot of them cleared off as a result of the salt. But unfortunately, Cheryl, we've had torrential rains, and you can see the rains just running down the side of the roads here, and unfortunately with slush and snow melt from the ice, or I should say ice melt really. It's been covering a lot of the manholes here, the holes, the water drains down, and unfortunately we've had a lot of puddles, a lot of ponding on the roads. This is where Route 2 meets Interstate 89 here in Burlington, and it is just a winter wonderland here with really everything very, very ice covered. A lot of the secondary roads have not been treated. A lot of the Chittenden County schools have been closed as a result of the icing situation. And what's even more amazing, when we usually talk about ice and snow, we talk about elevation. And in this case, Cheryl, when you go up in elevation, 1,000 feet or above, there's no ice. There's no ice at all. So really, it is a low-lying problem. Cold air being more dense, trapped here in the Champlain Valley, has caused our icing event. Clinton County, New York, across the lake, state of emergency there. One of the worst ice storms ever up the road in Montreal. As many as 1 million people without power. Things are slowly improving up that way in southern Quebec. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Jim. We appreciate the update. And as Jim was showing us, it's been a mess for traveling throughout the Northeast, and the evening rush hour promises to be just as treacherous. Still more significant icing for upstate New York and across northern New England, and this will be lasting for a large part of the day. Hence, winter storm warnings are out for upstate New York and all across northern New England for today. And as always, if you want more weather information or if you're away from your TV set today, you can always check in at the website at weather.com. Now let's check out the weather elsewhere around the country, and with more details about that, we go back to the studios and Rick Griffin. Rick?
All right, thanks, Cheryl. Well, the East is not the only area of the country being affected by this huge storm. You're also seeing a little snow in the southern plains, the Mississippi Valley and the Midwest, and the snow is gradually spreading into the Great Lakes region this morning. So let's go to Sullivan, Wisconsin. We have our own Mike Seidel. He's standing by at the National Weather Service office in Sullivan. Mike, good morning to you. It looks like the snow is right on your doorstep now. So once it gets going, how much snow can the folks in southern Wisconsin expect today?
Well, Rick, it looks like we're going to see a 3 to 6 inch accumulation. As you get closer to the lake, smaller amounts because the lake water is still running in the upper 30s, and that will cut down on the accumulations of snow. Will tend to be wetter and compact. We're here at the National Weather Service here in Sullivan, midway between Madison and Milwaukee. They serve this whole area of southeastern Wisconsin. Of course, the Weather Channel and the Weather Service work very closely together to get those forecasts out to you, and certainly the tornado warnings and those severe weather watches and warnings. And with me this morning here at the Weather Service is Paul Collar. We want to look at the radar with Paul. We're going to look at 2 radars, and Paul, you can tell us what's going on as far as the movement of the snow back into Wisconsin this morning.
Well, Mike, we've been watching it all morning since we came in at midnight. It's been very slow to move in. We've got a lot of dry air over the state right now, but as you can see, it is slowly working up to the northwest, and it will be snowing here very shortly in Milwaukee, and eventually this narrow band will be working into Waukesha. Those of you down in Racine and Kenosha probably seeing some light snow as well. So for now, we're seeing these bands continue to develop and move to the northwest, and we'll continue to see that. This is a radar feed here out of the Davenport Weather Service radar, and we can see this band